Hey guys, it's been a little while since I put a video out. I've been consumed lately on the most recent scandals in the hobby and wanted to reflect on what's happening and the impact it will have on my own collecting. There seem to be multiple frauds that have been uncovered, so I want to briefly review them all. I can't do them justice in this video, so I will post links in the description box below so you can get more details. Things really broke open when Astro Trevor on the Blowout Cards forum presented overwhelming evidence that PWCC was selling a 1952 Topps Mantle in a 4.5 that had been significantly altered from its raw form. When collectors presented this evidence to PWCC, they refused to take the auction down, and Brent even came up with a poorly chosen rationalization, saying that the card was merely conserved, and therefore the auction would continue. There was not even a notice in the auction listing about the card being conserved, or what had been done to it. The Mantle ended up selling for about $59,000, which I think is the highest price ever paid for that grade. That angered a lot of collectors, and the floodgates opened with several people doing very impressive forensic investigations into other cards PWCC sold that also might have been altered. And here I want to recognize the incredible work of members of the Blowout Cards forum, including Corndog, Super Dan, and 312, who have painstakingly uncovered the alteration of dozens of vintage cards that were sold by PWCC. These guys use pretty creative methods of eBay feedback unmasking to discover that the guy altering the cards is a New York dealer named Gary Moser. Making matters worse, Moser had a pretty close relationship with PWCC. He bought a lot of his cards that he altered from PWCC and later consigned them for sale as well. Basically, what Moser would do is buy lower graded cards from PWCC, crack them out of their cases, alter them, and then get them resubmitted to PSA, where they would get a higher grade. He would then send the cards back to PWCC, where they would sell them for much higher prices. At this point, it's estimated that he's made at least several $100,000 from these alterations. It gets worse from there because evidence has been presented that PWCC, meaning Brent, actually purchased some of these lower grade cards himself, ones that were later sold through PWCC on eBay as altered cards. The other scandal that's been uncovered is Shill Bidding with PWCC. It's been reported on sportscardradio.com that in PWCC's March 2019 auctions, Moser's eBay account shill bid on 31 of the 135 cards he had listed, even winning 2 of the auctions. In addition, Sports Card Radio published a 2017 text message from Brent to a former consignor urging him to shill bid on his own auction. Now, this is still a very active investigation by the collectors on Blowout Cards, as more altered cards are being discovered seemingly every day. On top of that, there is another scandal going around, this one surrounding Beckett Grading Services and a collector named Joe Clemons. Clemons is a former employee of Beckett who was able to submit and receive an incredibly large percentage of cards that were graded black label, meaning 10s across the board on all grading criteria. Something like 13% of his submissions came back black label, and according to those familiar with the grading process, the odds of that are simply too astronomical to calculate. It seems like Clemons was working with someone on the inside at Beckett to get these incredibly high grades. That's a lot to take in the span of about a month. If I left anything important out or had a detail wrong, please correct me in the comments below. There's a lot of blame to go around, foremost on PWCC. There's indisputable proof that they knowingly sold altered cards without disclosing it to buyers. To me, that's mail fraud, the same thing that put Bill Mastro in federal prison. There's also a lot of questions that should be directed at PSA. How did all these clearly altered cards get through their grading process? It's been alleged that Moser chemically soaked, pressed, and trimmed these cards. You're telling me PSA can't detect that? If they can't, then why are they in business? Or did they have some type of a symbiotic relationship with PWCC and weren't diligent about examining the cards? I feel like this has really exposed the third-party graders. I put blame on eBay too. They don't give you the proper tools to detect shill bidding. Years ago, you could examine a bidding history and look at the seller's complete history of buying, selling, and leaving feedback. Today, you need a lot of time, luck, or sophistication to do it. eBay only says they will handle shill bidding themselves, but they clearly have a vested interest in allowing it to continue. Where does this leave me now? I have to put a pause on my collecting of big-ticket graded cards until things are sorted out. To say the least, I'm done with PWCC. How could you ever trust them? I'm waiting to see if some of my cards make the list of altered ones. With PSA, I need to hold off on submitting anything to them until I see some changes in how they do business as well. I'm also predicting that we're going to see a drop in prices for graded cards, at least in the short term, which means probably holding my cards longer before I sell. To me, the biggest thing is transparency. When PWCC had an opportunity to do the right thing, they failed. PSA doesn't explain who the graders are or why a card gets a particular grade. eBay doesn't allow you to really investigate if you're getting shill bid. A transparent and fair marketplace is essential for buyers to feel safe. It doesn't exist right now. I've always enjoyed the discussions in the comments section, so I'll ask you here, how have these scandals impacted your own collecting? Thanks for watching, and keep collecting what you love.